We're always told to run from pain, right? To avoid it at all costs. But what if the only way to build a truly unbreakable mind is to run directly at it? That's the brutal lesson from the life of David Goggins. And let me tell you, his origin story is absolutely not what you think. So how do you do it? How do you actually build a mind that can't be broken? It's a huge question. And David Goggins' life offers one of the most extreme and honestly one of the most brutal answers you'll ever find. If you've ever looked into extreme endurance, you've heard of this man. Today, David Goggins is considered by many to be the toughest man alive, an absolute legend. I mean, just look at this list. It's insane. This isn't just about being an elite soldier. He's also a world-class athlete in all these different fields, each one demanding you push your body and your mind to the absolute breaking point. This is way beyond just excellence. This is like redefining what a human being is even capable of. So you have to wonder, right? Was he just born like this? Some kind of machine just wired for suffering and achievement from day one? Well, the truth is, it's almost unbelievable. The man you see today was forged from a boy who was the absolute opposite, insecure, deeply traumatized, and literally running from every single challenge he faced. To really get the man, you have to go all the way back to his childhood, which was just filled with profound pain. And this isn't just some backstory, okay? This is the furnace. This is where the armor plating of his mind was literally forged. It all starts with his father, Toughness, who was just a brutal tyrant. He subjected his whole family to constant, terrible abuse. I mean, in one story, he whipped a young Goggins with a leather belt until the boy could barely breathe, all for just talking back. Any chance of a normal childhood? It was completely out of the question. Starting at age 6, he and his brother were forced to work these super late nights at their father's skating rink. So while other kids were at home sleeping, he was cleaning toilets. This routine left him just perpetually exhausted, and of course he was struggling in school. And the trauma just kept coming. It was relentless. So he escapes his father, but then he's an outcast in school, suffering from toxic stress that gave him a stutter. He witnesses this horrific violence. And then the one stable guy in his life, his mom's fiance, is murdered. It was just one devastating blow right after another. And as if all that wasn't enough, he faced this constant, violent racism. One night, a group of teenagers in a pickup truck literally pointed a pistol at him, screaming racial slurs, threatening him just for being in their neighborhood. And the threats got even more direct. He found this death threat, along with a drawing of a noose, in his school workbook. Can you imagine? And when he took it to the principal, it was just dismissed. The message he got was crystal clear. Nobody's coming to save you. You are completely on your own. So here he is, just drowning in anger and insecurity. But he finds this one single dream, this one glimmer of hope that promises him a way out, a chance to become someone else entirely. He was inspired by his grandfather, who'd served for 37 years. The Air Force became his light at the end of the tunnel. It wasn't just a job for him. It was a way to completely reinvent himself. But here was the problem. His whole life, he had cheated to get by. But now he's facing the military entrance exam, and there are no answers to copy. He's totally on his own, and he fails. Miserably. And in that moment, he realized his entire life had been built on a lie. So this failure, it was the trigger. But instead of running away like he always did, for the very first time, he decided to confront the person who was responsible for all of his failures, himself. And to do it, he created this incredibly powerful tool. He called it the accountability mirror. Every single night, he'd shave his head, look himself right in the eye, and hold himself accountable for everything. No sugarcoating it, he would just call himself out on his lies, his fears, his laziness. Then, he'd write his goals on sticky notes and put them right there on the mirror, forcing himself to look at them every single day. No more excuses. In a way, he basically built his own feedback loop. Instead of looking for people to tell him he was doing great, he engineered a system that gave him only the brutal, uncomfortable truths that he needed to hear if he was ever going to change. And he applied that same intensity to studying. To pass that exam, he made this really simple but brutal system. Write down notes, memorize them, and repeat, over and over. He did this for hours, day after day, until that information was just burned into his brain. He was literally rewiring it through sheer force of will. And guess what? It worked. He got into the Air Force. But When he got to the elite pararescue training, his old demons came roaring back. See, he had this deep, crippling phobia of water, and the panic was just overwhelming. He quit. He used a medical diagnosis as an excuse, but he knew the real truth. His fear had beaten him. After quitting, he just spiraled. He completely let himself go, binge eating his way up to 255 pounds. That number, it basically represented the weight of his failure. And this is such a key part of the story because it shows you that transformation, it's not some straight line to success. After getting a taste of his potential, he was right back where he started, in a dead-end job, living a mediocre life, feeling completely numb. It really seemed like his story was over. But it was just the beginning of his real war. Goggins' story really shows us that the most powerful tool for change is just radical self-honesty. That first look in the mirror is the hardest part. So the real question is, what truth are you willing to face in yours?